According to Statista.com, in 2023, the average price for a holiday dinner is $61.17. This dinner includes turkey, stuffing, potatoes, rolls with butter, vegetables, cranberry, pie with toppings, and beverages of coffee and milk, all in quantity sufficient to serve a family of 10. But our goal is to support families of any size. Or, if you would like, look on your local community pages on social media. Find a family that needs your care and support. Verify your donation by asking for an email with the receipt showing your $20 of work. Family caring and support is what this season is all about. Welcome to Footprints Forward, everyone, and a very happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. I know a lot of you guys are taking the week off, and hopefully you're able to join us. If you've never joined us before, Footprints Forward was started by this wonderful group of people we've got here, all in hopes of finding ways to help people through the difficulties of suicide prevention and mental health awareness. We've got a wonderful, wonderful family here. My name is Zach Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. You just saw two of our things that we have going on. One is a holiday plea for assistance, where we are taking and we are doing an adopt a family program to where we're asking you all over the United States, if you're having trouble this holiday season with your family and you need a little bit of support, contact us. That little QR code that was on there, just contact us. We will try to do our best to get it out there, and hopefully somebody can help support you. Then, of course, we are just mere months away from February 22nd, which, of course, is the 22 hours dedicated to rescuing our heroes, our veterans. And while there's positive news on the suicide front, where suicides have gone down some, unfortunately, we've hit higher numbers with other problems like homelessness, joblessness, and other things. So we're going to be going at it the same way, where we're telling the stories and bringing to light a lot of the problems, a lot of the ways that we can fix these problems if we work together. So next up, we've got the goddess of the grape, Stephanie Simoes.
Hi, Zach. How are you guys doing? Hi, family. Patrick,
Doing
Dennis. Great being here. I'm looking forward to your 22-hour show. It's, something great that you put together, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Simoes. I work with nonprofit organizations and people year-round to assist with fundraising through One Hope Wine. So what I do is I specialize in fundraising, gifting, private wine events, and wine delivery. This is the time of year, you guys. When you pour a glass of wine or send a gift, it's really a great feeling to know that that bottle is making an impact for a nonprofit organization that is important to you. Yes, you get to actually select where that donation is going. Zach and I run a monthly show highlighting smaller nonprofit organizations to help them fundraise, but most importantly, to get their mission out there to more people. So if you are not on there yet, you can follow our monthly mission at Community Pay It Forward, One Hope Fundraiser on Facebook. I know Zach has like a QR code somewhere, but you can find it on my Linktree for sure, which is right underneath my name. And the link right there is to it. Gosh, there's a lot going on. My husband and I founded New Heights Homestead. So we are traveling 580 miles with our 5 children and animals to build a mountaintop homestead from the ground up. Our goal is not only to have a more natural approach to our family, but to also support our community and nonprofits we love through this space. So if you're curious about topics like homesteading, off-grid living, animals, non-traditional home designs like container home builds, more natural living topics like growing food and things, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and come on the journey with us. And that's just at New Heights Homestead. So I'm glad to be here. You know, this mission is important to me because the last few years working in the nonprofit space, I've really learned where our systems are lacking in support. So I really believe in what we're doing here, that education and resources for those needing assistance is really important. If you want to connect with me, my link tree is the best way. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Has Paul been able to make it home for the holidays?
He is home. Yeah, he is home.
All right.
And back to the grind, the normal grind, back to work.
Oh, work grind. Yeah. He was up there spending money. Now he's got to come back and start making it, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to join us today. Next up, we have Dennis Schroeder, of the founder of Price of Freedom Foundation, who happens to be one of the nonprofits that we will be highlighting on the 22 Hours podcast. So, Dennis, tell us a little bit about you and the Price of Freedom Foundation.
Certainly. Well, thank you, Zach, and it's always good to be here with my family, my friends that here at on this show. I'm a 24-year Army veteran. Was raised in a Navy family, and currently run this nonprofit called the Price of Freedom Foundation. And what we do is we tell the complete life stories of those who never got to be veterans, those who died while in military service to our nation. We have our first book, our first story published, and actually news for the family here is that the hardcover edition, the 100 copies that we had ordered, finally arrived this past Friday. So this is one of them. We had been making a special appeal to help us purchase these because had to come out of our own resources. We're giving copies to the people that we interviewed, the family and the friends of the fallen, and it's not going to come up to 100 people, probably less than half of that number. So what I had offered as an incentive was to say, hey, if you're willing to donate $40 or more towards this cause, you too will get a copy of the book autographed by myself. And we came up $600 short on our goal. And so we have about 30 of these books that are available for anybody who wants to support it. I sent the donate link there in the chat, Zach, if you can put that up there. Anybody who donates $40 or more to this, also let me know, put a note or send an email to me, and you'll get a hard copy edition of the book, and I'll autograph that for you. So we're currently working with 3 additional families. We're looking for 5 more. I just got introduced to what may be a very interesting story. Going to be a little bit different and have to take a different tack, but was just introduced to a family of a Korean War MIA who basically they finally found his remains and were brought back to the United States, and they had a ceremony for him in the not too distant past, and they are potentially interested in us telling that person's story. So we have no real time limit. It's simply a matter of logistics and how we can go about collecting the elements of the story. We prefer to be able to talk to individuals who had firsthand knowledge, but in a case like this, we're going to have to be primarily focused on documentary evidence that was left behind, letters and things like that. So But we need 5 more families to serve so that we can not only do this in book form, but in video as well. So I don't want to take up too much more time. Thank you all, and glad to be here.
I did put up in the comments, you can see the link right there in the comments. So you can go back and look. I will put the link back in the comments again later on in the show, but you can see it on the bottom of your screen. Dennis, I was just going to ask you, you brought up the Korean vet that they found. I know on Discovery Channel last Wednesday and this upcoming Wednesday, where they were doing some investigation, and I just love Josh Gates. Okay, I got a man crush on Josh Gates. I think he's one of the greatest. I really do. But I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a battalion of planes that went out that they've never found a single plane.
No, I was not aware of that.
They finally found one of the planes.
Okay.
And they're going to get to that discovery this next week. Destination, his show that comes on Wednesday nights. Go back and watch last week's. It's a great build up to it. And then they've already given out the preview, but they did find one of the American planes, which is fantastic. So I'm so excited to see that. But again, and by the way, something that I did forget to mention, Stephanie said that she looks forward to me putting this on. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear the name One Hope Wines once or twice or a dozen times during that show, because I'm pretty sure that Stephanie's going to be working with me to where when you buy wines for this program, well, let's put it this way. Everyone that is already on the show has already been in the program. So you can already take and go back and sponsor these places like Dennis and Price of Freedom Foundation and Veterans Honoring Veterans and Community Dare to Care. So last but most definitely not least, Mr. Patrick, how are you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. Had a pretty awesome week. Had an awesome week, man. Life is just amazing right now. So just because I'm alive, man, everything ain't going great, but everything is going great at the same time. So I don't know how to explain it. Just life.
If it's above ground, it's going pretty good, right?
Nah, it's better than that, bro. You know what I mean? I'm above ground and thriving, man. Just everything's. I wish I could explain like the joy I have in my soul right now, man. But I can't, man. I'm really truly in a place in my life, man, where I have just like really true peace, like my mind and my soul and my body and my spiritual is all connecting at once. It's just a really cool experience right now in my life. Anyway, so I'm the founder of a Call Edge Global. Shout out to Stephanie over here. So I'm getting into the aeroponic tower game. So and I really want to build a container home. So we'll probably be in I've been dreaming about a container home for a while. And so we'll probably talk about that one of these days here real soon. Anyway, I'm the founder of a Call Edge Global. And what we do is we're providing as many platforms as possible to be able to get the message out about the gospel and helping people in different ways. One of our companies is Consuming Fire Media, which we have several different podcasts that we're running out of that. So we have a Men's Pit podcast, the Chronicles of Pat and Aya. We're getting ready to start 3 more actually coming here probably in January when I get back from Singapore. And also I have a nonprofit that I'm working with that I started called the Youth Initiative. And one of the chapters that's here in Tennessee is called The Roots. And it's been kind of taking off, and with these kids, just the the level of change that you're seeing in them by giving them the tools already right now is just it's astronomical. Where you go from these kids that don't know anything about themselves or have any or they have ambition, but they don't know how to focus their ambition into actual dreams and actions. And so just giving them the tools and then watching them take those tools and run with it and um, starting to get, in the space right now where we're actually getting ready to start the beginning processes of starting some of the programs that they want to do. And it's just it's really truly a blessing. And so it's actually, catching on to other places and just praying for um, just wisdom and people that are going to be interested to help make all this happen because you can only do so much by yourself. And so it's been a pretty great journey. And so that's what I do, man.
Well, Patrick, I know that you've got so much going on and everything, it's kind of funny. And I think you and I have talked about this. It always seems like everything's in a beginning stage, and it's because everything morphs and everything grows. And when it grows naturally, there's always new things to look at. And I love your compassion with the kids. And I think that that's something that is so very telling on you, because we know the intolerance for kids nowadays. There's really a huge gap in between us and the younger generation. And so anybody who takes and gives them that they need and that direction, I can sit there and tell you, go that way, it works better. That doesn't matter. If I show you, look, follow me, I can show you a little bit better. It's gonna work so much better. So congratulations on everything that you've got going on, man. And you weren't here when I got to say it, but happy Thanksgiving, brother. And I really hope everything, happy to hear that you're going to be going to Singapore. That's pretty cool. So,
oh man, I can't wait, man. See my baby girl, man.
Yeah. I was going to say,
it's been a year. Since I've seen her.
Why are you happy? Yeah, we know why you're happy. So, all right, Dennis, you introduced our guest today to me. Why don't you go on ahead and introduce him to everyone else, please?
Well, I'd like to thank Justin for coming on board. Justin Pitcher is a gentleman that I met actually through a discussion on a Facebook post of a mutual friend of ours. Justin and I had never met, never crossed paths prior, but we were talking specifically about losing someone to drugs. And I was touched deeply by the things that Justin was telling me there in that conversation. And we've talked about the issue of drug overdose deaths and how I lost a son-in-law to a drug overdose death a number of years ago, and that oftentimes it's another way that people take themselves out. And so I am honored that Justin is willing to come and tell his story, and I'm excited about the motivation he has about what he's doing. And I don't want to take any thunder away from him. I want him to be able to tell his story in his own words.
And with that, we'd like to bring on and introduce everyone to Justin Pitcher. How you doing, Justin? Oh, we don't hear you yet, buddy. No. Can anybody else hear him, or?
I cannot, no.
Okay. Justin, maybe try to come out and then come back in. You can't hear us either. Go on ahead and go out and come back in. I guess if he can't hear, no matter how loud I yell into the. Okay, did that work? Did we got you now? Okay, we're gonna have you log out and okay, he got it. All right.
Yep.
So yeah, one of the, and I know that it's actually kind of funny. Justin and I, we talked about different things. We never even talked about the loss of someone else. Justin is going to be talking about experiences he's had with the demon, and he it's fairly new to, you know, it happened fairly recently. It hasn't, you know, and it was weird because one of the things that I did is while we were talking, I was looking it up, and one of the things that we discovered, and like I said, this is what we discovered while we were talking, is he had attempted. Justin, can you hear us now?
There we go. Sorry about
Got
that.
you.
Yay!
Hey, you're back. That's good. Justin, I was just telling him that you and I, during our conversation, and like Dennis said, I don't want to upstage you in any way. I'm going to put Patrick back up there when he comes back on. We can see him, but I don't want to mess him out. But when you and I were talking, you had tried more recently to take your life for a second time, correct?
Yes, back in 2017.
Okay. And one of the things that I looked up while you and I were talking is it is 10 to 15% of suicides eventually die by suicide. Well, our numbers are as high as they are. Okay. And we were talking about last year, you know, and I can't remember what the number was last year, but, you know, I mean, 49,000, I think is what we lost, something like that. And that was 10 to 15% of people who attempted. I mean, so, and these aren't people who just think about it. They actually attempted. Justin, your difficulties started where? What really started to make you go in a, I don't want to say downward spiral, but there's probably not a better way to put it. What started you in a downward spiral?
It honestly, it's kind of like an avalanche. It happens, and it happens so fast. I've struggled with depression and trauma all of my life. And in this particular time period, I was under an immense amount of, I want to call it trauma, but I just got separated from my wife. I didn't know if I'd ever get to see my kids again. I moved all the way to the other side of the country to be with family. And it was a traumatic experience, and I didn't know how to process it to the point where I imploded. There's no better way of putting it. I mentally checked out. And then the day that I attempted, the anniversary of one of my very close friends that died overseas, it honestly was a very selfish thing for me, because I just decided, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm just going to get really drunk, and with whatever happens. And I started drinking. I called Chelsea, who's my current wife. We were still talking at the time. I called her over. She came and visited me, and I wasn't in a suicidal state yet. I was just more of a severe depression and enhancing it with alcohol. And it was the flip of a switch. I just grabbed a bottle of pills and I immediately swallowed them. There wasn't much of a buildup, and that's what's scary about suicide. Everyone's always asking, like, where were the signs? For some people, there are no signs. They could be very happy one day, and then something just makes them decide, I don't want to be alive anymore. And the immense amount of pressure of deciding I don't want to be alive, because the body and the mind, and I don't mean to get philosophical or anything, but the body wants to stay alive and it will fight you. So for you to push yourself to that point where you're going to take your own life or attempt to take your own life, it's I really don't know how to explain it. It's a crazy moment in the mind. I just decided, you know what? I don't want to be here. And I made this comment last time, and I hate this comment, but more or less I pulled the trigger on the situation. And coming out of the situation now, looking back, I regret it. I put my family through a lot of trauma with what I did. I damaged my heart. I spent some time in the hospital. And my brain stopped working. I lost all train of thought. Sorry, it happens. I have severe ADHD, and I'll start talking and then completely brain dump whatever I'm doing.
That's fine. Let me ask you a question that, and please, if you don't feel like answering this, that's not a problem. Were you ever diagnosed with anything that that brings upon that sudden urge to do things?
So I have a myriad of diagnoses that I've been given. From early childhood, I was diagnosed with ADHD and like anxiety and depression. I recently found out that I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, which to this day plays a part in my depression and anxiety. And then I've also been diagnosed with PTSD from trauma that I have endured throughout life and in Afghanistan. All of those can play a part in the sudden urge to just not want to be here anymore.
Okay. And then what, you've been sober now for 8 months.
8 months today, actually.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your first victory.
It's the longest I've been sober since I was 16.
Hey, you know what, brother? I don't care if it's a week, man. Congratulations. It's
really proud moment for me.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I know it's a hard fight. It's a very hard fight for a lot of people. What do you do now that's different, Justin? When you get into that place, it's like, oh my God, I can't deal with it no more. What do you do now?
So I think she's watching right now. I call my sister and I talk to her. She came into my life, not this past July, but the July before that. She sent me a Facebook message and said, "Hey, I'm your sister." And I was like, "No, you're not. I don't have a sister." And then she like explained the situation. I found out I have a sister. She's my older sister. She's about 3 years older than I am. And she's by far my biggest advocate for my sanity and sobriety, but also one of my biggest supporters.
That's got to be one of those things that, and on one hand, you're like, wow, this is really cool. On the other hand, it's got to be a little bit like, what the hell?
It blew my mind.
And I used hell to be polite.
I think about the situation and break it down and what it really meant. And as she explained it more to me, it was, I don't know what the profanity usage on your show is, but it was a mind fuck. To find out that my dad had a daughter with another woman before he married my mom, and then that they both knew about it and did not say anything about it my entire life, and for her to come forward and be like, "Yeah, I'm your sister," and then to find out that my parents who raised me lied about the whole thing, it completely transformed how I viewed relationships.
Yeah, I can most definitely understand that. Patrick, you wanted to say something to Justin.
Yeah, man. Just number one, just listening to the beginning part of your story. Those warning signs, man, that like, people are always asking about them, and you're talking about like how your you don't even like how your mind pushes you to this point past what your body wants to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's a crazy place in life to be, you know what I mean? Where, that was one of the biggest shames of my life that I had to deal with, was when that happened. And then I was wondering, like, how did you actually overcome that part of things when you know, after all the aftermath, right? Because there's this massive
So the
aftermath of
fallout.
everything. Yeah, yeah. And then
Uh,
like you're trying to explain to people like I was hurting. Some of it really had nothing to do with you. It just had everything to do with like what I couldn't cope with everything that was going on, and people don't understand that. So how did you
uh,
deal with that portion of your life?
I don't think I really had a damage control kind of moment or a process moment. My family's very, and I don't mean this in a good way, they're very forget it ever happened kind of deal. Like yell at you one day and then, hey, can you pick up stuff for me tomorrow? So when I did the act or attempted, everyone came to my side and they're like, what's going on? How could this happen? And then the next day, it was essentially old news. So that's how I handle things. And it's not a good thing. It's not a healthy coping mechanism. It's created problems in many relationships where I don't care about a lot of stuff. I drop it. Growing up, my dad has always been like, you just seem like you don't care. Like, yeah, it's easier to not care. If I don't care, I don't get hurt. If I don't care about you, you can't hurt me. So whenever I handled that traumatic situation, I was just like, all right, whatever, it's over. I did start seeing a therapist more regularly. But I mean, as far as, hey, you tried to take your own life, how does that make you feel? It doesn't. I I don't really have a good way of putting it. I've just always been one of those sweep it under the rug kind of people because that's how I've always been raised. That's how we handle problems. I've since become much better with handling my um, like stressors and stuff like that. I talked to my substance abuse therapist, Dr. Perry. He's an amazing doctor who helps me connect dots that I never saw possible and help understand my own psyche. And I talked to a psychiatrist, and honestly, the best thing I can say for someone that undergoes trying to take their own life, don't dwell on it. You tried to take your life, it's over. Move forward, because if you're holding on to that moment and that situation, me personally, I feel like you're still harboring those resentments to yourself and you're not allowing yourself to heal.
Okay, Patrick.
Yeah, I kind of, I really actually kind of agree with you on that subject for sure. Um, Suicide has been a very big part of my life between my daughter, the teenagers I dealt with, um, um, pastors, friends, other, my best friend shot herself, like all kind of crazy stuff, man. And so, and then I took my life 2 years ago also. And one of the things that you were talking about just now is like the sweep it under the rug effect, right? And that's something that was very big in my life too. Like you just, if you're a military man, so you just have to suck it up, grin and bear it, right?
Yep.
And that's usually the process. And and so um even though like maybe right now it's not the best coping mechanism, right? Are you looking for better coping mechanisms for to enhance your future um relationships, man?
Oh, absolutely.
Um
I'm
yeah,
al-
yeah, yeah.
I'm always trying to improve my toolbox, I guess to say. Um, Today I had a really great morning. I went and hung out with one of my best friend. I normally don't get out. I'm the kind of person that locked themselves in their house for 3 months and couldn't go out the front door because I was freaking out. I'm forcing myself to do things that make me uncomfortable that will make me better. I force myself to, get out of bed when I don't want to get out of bed. I force myself to do some form of exercise, even though I'm like, yeah, I was in the military. We did PT every day. I'm a lazy kind of person. Like, if I don't have to go for a walk, I don't want to go for a walk. I'd rather just, sit at my desk, do my little thing. But I force myself to get out there. Like, all right, just do a mile. And like after a mile, do 2 miles. Get a hobby. Get something that keeps you engaged. Something that keeps you wanting, you know, something that makes you happy. For me, I'm a nerd. I'm proud to say it. I'm a huge nerd. I had to tell my daughter the other day or the other week or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with being a nerd, because kids nowadays, they always take it in a derogatory sense. Like, oh, you're a nerd. Like, embrace it. I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I will talk Star Wars all day. I'm also a very big Lego nerd. It's a very expensive hobby and I need to cut back, but I'll work on that.
Yeah, my both of my sons are into Legos, and that was one of those things I'm like going, oh wow, if I would have realized how much money we were going to spend, through those almost 30 years.
So
I think I would have picked up balloon animals.
I recently my collection somewhere about $14,000 of Lego that I have acquired.
Wow.
Jeez.
It's an investment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like some of the sets, I've sold minifigures, like just a little minifigure.
Oh yeah.
For like $300. There's some that go for $1,400. It blows my mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my son in Japan, he has a Pikachu Nintendo up here that's worth so much money, and I'm like, so it's in my office so I can guard it while he's in Japan. But
like,
I'm sorry,
Pokemon. That's a cool combo for Japan.
Yeah. So, Stephanie.
Well, Justin, I just want to say thank you for your service first and coming on and sharing about your story.
Thank you.
I recently lost someone to an overdose, and it's still pretty fresh, just, less than 2 months, couple weeks. It might even be 4-ish weeks at this point. So what would you say, was most influential for you, like getting you here to this point? You're talking about, I believe 2017, you said, was it resources, therapies, support? Heck, I don't know, are the Legos calming for you? And does that help get you through? Like anything you can think of that, somebody in that situation might find useful?
It's so things, honestly. If I had to break it down to a singular moment, and this is going to sound really awful, it was when I found out that my wife was having an affair. Normally that would have broken me. But I took that opportunity because I'd already been 1 month into inpatient treatment with the VA. I took that moment to look at my situation and what it meant. And pretty much the big thing that came out of it was self-value and self-love. Like everyone's like, you got to love yourself before you can love someone else. I fully believe that now, because I had always been codependent and never loved myself. And that's another reason why I abused drugs so much, was because I didn't care or value myself. So I'm going to put this into my system so it makes me feel better about the fact that I think I'm a piece of shit. The day I found out she was having an affair, I pretty much told myself, she doesn't value you. You don't need her. You don't need that in your life. And it's not going to be like for everyone, but it was an instantaneous thing. This is someone that I considered the love of my life, my soulmate, my best friend. And once I realized she didn't value me the way I valued me, that's someone I don't need in my life, because they will only bring me down. She is still with that individual, and her life, I don't want to be the person to talk ill, but I will speak truth. She is still using, she is drinking. She's not doing good. And it breaks my heart for our kids, because I want them to have a mother that's healthy and involved in their lives, but she's not it. And that's been a huge driving point for me for wanting to be better, is I want to be in my kids' lives. Something I thought of when I was in therapy was, I don't want to be my father. I want to be my kid's father.
I'd love, and you brought that up when we talked, and I love that stuff.
Yeah. I want to be there for them for everything. And when I'm not there for them, I'm going to support them. When I was doing inpatient treatment, I had to miss one of my daughter's soccer games. So I made a bunch of Facebook posts and like just telling people in the community, hey, just come out and watch my daughter. She has cerebral palsy. Walking for her is a bit of a struggle, but she plays her heart out on the field, stuff like that. The whole entire I'll give them a shout out. The North Harding girls soccer team, they came and watched her play and supported her in my absence. They signed her a soccer ball and they gave her a jersey for the North Harding team that's in her size. And it warmed my heart so much that, you know, they came out and that I was able to still support my daughter even though I wasn't there. That was huge for me. And it's stuff like that. I want to be at every little event. I want to be, this weekend I was teaching my daughter how to play baseball. She hit the ball for us. That was a huge deal. All those little moments that I don't remember as a kid, I want to do for my kids. My dad was absent most of my childhood, and it was no fault of his own. He was in the military, he was in the Army, and he was deployed a lot. When I was a baby, he was in Desert Storm. He wasn't Special Forces, but he was in SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. So the guys that were flying around in Black Hawk Down, that was his unit. So he was gone a lot. So the most I remember is just my mom being there and all those, you know, child and father moments I didn't get a lot of.
Okay.
And I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, you're talking about being able to do those things for your daughter that your dad wasn't able to do for you. So,
yeah. Okay. That's like the big thing for me. One, with my sobriety, and honestly, my will to live. I had a conversation with my daughter yesterday. She made a wish with a dandelion saying she wanted to live forever. And, you know, I explained to her, like, honey, we're all going to die one day. She's like, well, I don't want to die. It's like, it's a part of life. Like, eventually we're all going to pass. And then she blew another wish with another dandelion. It's like, I wish you to live forever. And it's like, well, I don't want that. I don't want to live forever. That's a lonely existence. I want to live now, make the best memories I can for my kids and for myself, because hopefully I don't get dementia when I'm older and I can look back and see all these moments. And that's why I take pictures of everything. I'm pretty sure there's someone on Facebook that's like, stop posting pictures. I post everything I do so I can look back and say, like, this is what I was doing at this point in my life. Because no one has photo albums anymore. And eventually I'm going to fill my phone up with photos. I'm going to have to delete stuff. It'll be on Facebook. And let's face it, Facebook's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it ain't going anywhere. And by the way, if there is anybody sitting out there saying stop posting photos, stop looking at them. You know, that's all you have to do. Hey, let me go on ahead and Dennis, let's bring you in. You guys connected because you guys both lost someone close to you. Why didn't you go on ahead and bring up the conversations that you guys had started?
Well, this was, I think this was just prior to Halloween, if I remember correctly, and we were talking about our mutual friend Alicia had talked about something about the tragedy of drugs taking people from our lives, and so I was sharing about the loss of my former son-in-law, and how my daughter, who had been married to him, had struggled for many years with her addictions and the like. And that, I think, we were talking about that. And I guess the question, because you brought up something about kind of what motivated you to be doing what you're doing now, in terms of the study that you're, the course of study that you're in. So could you share with us a little bit about that, about what you're studying, why you're studying it, and what you're hoping to do after that?
Well, I'm currently not officially enrolled in classes yet, but I'm always studying just everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person that just has to be taken in knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But when I eventually go back to enroll in school, I want to go into addiction counseling, and so I can try and get a job with the VA, because as the old adage says, who better help an addict than a former addict? Well, who better help a veteran addict than a fellow veteran addict?
Right.
That's the ultimate goal for me.
Super. Well, yeah, and I mean that's that certainly, I think, it resonates with us. It resonates with me, because we want to help those that we can help, that from a point of, this is our experience. So if you're going through something similar, we have something positive that we can share with you and help you through that.
Absolutely.
So
the big takeaway of that is what you said, experience, because you know how soldiers are. They don't care about people that read from a book or just talk to them. They want someone that has gone through what they've been through, or at least understands what they're talking about. If that was something I struggled with the VA at first in some of my classes, you'd get someone that's fresh out of school and they're trying to teach you about drug addiction. They've never touched a drug in their life, and you immediately want to shut them out. Of course, try and be more open-minded, but that's what I think I bring to the table in that field. Is I was a drug addict. I have done bad things to get drugs. I have struggled with depression. I have tried to take my life on several occasions. There has been one occasion where my life was taken that was completely unintentional. I know the fear that comes with dying and wanting to die. And if I can just make one person put the drugs down, if I can make one person take the gun away from their hand, for me, that's a complete success. That's worth all the work in the world. If I can make one person change their mind on how they view themselves, that they are valued and they're worthy.
Oh, I applaud you on that, and that's why I don't know about the conversation that you had with Zach prior to to coming on here, but I will tell you that strikes a chord, and it resonates with every single one of us, because that's what our purpose here is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, anybody, and Dennis, I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
I'm sorry. I just probably have a bad internet connection here. Let me see if I can close any other programs. And
Yeah. Just for those of you who are watching, if you guys have anything that you would like to ask any of us or Justin himself, please just go on ahead and type it into the comments and we'll get right with you. But Justin, things are going better for you right now? Things are going okay right now?
I would honestly say things are going phenomenal for me. And I know everyone's like, things are too good. Something bad's around the corner. I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, all right, things have been really good for a while. Like, what's the bad that's going to happen? I recently got moved forward in a job process. It's nothing big. It's Home Depot, but I'll get to work with my best friend. I'm happy about that. Being able to do this podcast, for me, this is huge, because I've always wanted to get involved with creating my own podcast to talk about mental health, to talk about drug addiction. And what better way to start it out than being invited onto a podcast to actually get to discuss those things. I reached a huge milestone in sobriety today. I honestly have a lot of really good things going on, and I feel very blessed for it.
Yeah. I just want to congratulate you so much on everything that you're going through. I really do. I think there's a lot of pressure. What was military service like? And I know that you had problems in.
I loved it. Everyone's like, oh, this was the job I wanted. This is what I'm good at. I didn't know what I was good at until I became an infantryman. The first time rounds started going past my head in Afghanistan, I immediately knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love this. I love this shit. I was an excellent combat soldier, and that's not, bragging. I was really good at being a soldier. It was the one thing that clicked with me. And it's ironic because before I joined the Army, I had so many thoughts of, what am I going to do if someone shoots at me? Am I going to freeze? Am I going to freak out? Am I going to be able to take a life? And even when I was in Afghanistan, it's almost like there was something guarding my mental stability. Because if I was always just a fraction over here, a fraction over there, I would probably be very much more messed up. I feel like I've been shielded from a lot of carnage that I could have been exposed to. I was involved in a couple of IEDs that never caused damage, but you know, it's enough to be like, hey, I got blown up. I've stepped on IEDs that didn't blow up, and those are the scariest ones. When you step on the pressure plate and it goes down, and then you're just like, what happens now? And you're just like, get the fuck away from me, tell my security guy, because one of the big things I struggled with and ultimately led to one of my suicide attempts was survivor's guilt from my deployment. There was a really big event that happened to me where our trucks were on the road and we had to go do a dismounted patrol and go clear out this wadi line that someone had observed an individual placing an IED in the night before. Instead of shooting them, they let them get away. I got out of the truck and my squad leader's like, hey, get up on the 50, and then pulled another soldier out and told him to do the mine sweeping. And I was like, all right, I don't have to go sweep for IEDs. I'm cool with that. Get back in the truck and just stand there. And to this day, I hate myself. I have since been forgiven, or not really. I've sought forgiveness to the individuals that the incident happened to, and they tell me it's, nothing to worry about. But sitting up in the turret, next thing I know, I see a poof of smoke, and I'm like, oh, fuck, something happened. And then just this huge explosion. And then the radio started going crazy, calling up for a medevac to come pick up a casualty. And what ultimately happened was the guy that I switched places with, he stepped on a small IED that ended up breaking his ankle. But in the event of him stepping on the IED, one of my best friends, Martinez, came running over to help him, and he stepped on a really big IED. Some like 5-gallon jug of homemade explosive and like an 82 or 88, like an artillery round connected to it. So he got blown up. He lost both his legs and one of his arms, and they kept him alive. From where I was, I could hear him screaming, and it still bugs me. But he's now in I might be wrong. He's a Paralympian for the American surf team. I know he's a surfer. I believe it's with the Paralympians and with Team USA. And I couldn't be more proud of him. But I hold a lot of guilt because I think I could have prevented it. Or maybe I could have been able to prevent any of it from happening had I not swap out, had I not just, not been lazy. Instead of going up. So I made it my goal when I got put on minesweeping for the rest of the deployment. Ain't nobody stepping on an IED on my watch. And it didn't happen. I got done talking with a buddy of mine the other day on Snapchat, and he brought up, hey, remember that leopard print jug you found? And it made me smile so big. So I'm like, I didn't make that up. That was real. That really happened. My favorite IED I ever found was a purple and pink leopard print jug of death.
Patrick, you had one more, and then I know that you've got Justin, you've got to be leaving at the top of the hour, close to the top of the hour. So Patrick, one more.
Hey brother, just really proud of you, man.
Yep.
Real talk, man. Just the way that you're handling going forward right now, man, and that's going to help a lot of men out there and a lot of brothers. I'm from the military myself, and it's going to help a lot of brothers out there, man, that are just trying to find their way forward. And the other thing too, man, it's like where people tell me this all the time, like the other shoe's about to drop when you're having a good go at things, right? Man, don't even begin. Remember how you said you let things go and you just ride with it, brother? Don't even begin to let that thought even creep, man. Just, you know what I mean?
Just
like,
right.
yeah, just The shells are coming, brother. You just get to run through them, man, and you don't have to worry about if shoe's gonna drop or not. Like that's just part of life.
A really good way of looking at it, or at least how I look at
man.
it, bad things are going to happen. It's inevitable. To go through with an expectation that everything's going to be good always is setting yourself up for failure. You have to be able to cope. You have to learn how to cope with the bad. And I'll say this for anybody out there: go talk to somebody, get a therapist. There's nothing weak about it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
So much passion. I fucking hated being called weak because I would go see behavioral health in the Army or go see the wizard. Go talk to somebody. That the only thing it will do is save your life.
Yeah.
No. Well, Patrick, I want to thank you very much, and we're going to have you back on again. There's a lot of things that we need to continue and continue to talk about. Please keep up the great work, and please feel free to join us whenever you can. But let's go on ahead, and guys, it is Thanksgiving. Once again, just how about we just go in order and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and tell us your thoughts, Dennis?
Well, again, happy Thanksgiving to our family and to Justin. Thank you all, and to all of our listeners. And just, I'm so glad that that we connected, Justin. I'm looking forward very much to continued conversations. I know that we're not that far apart geographically, and hopefully we'll be able to have a face-to-face meeting here in the not too distant future.
Please remember to go to Dennis's donation, in which I'm having problems finding it. I am so sorry about that, but please make sure that you go to Randy Pitcher. Your dad is watching.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Great to hear. So welcome, Mr. Pitcher. Once again, here you go. This is how you can donate to the Price of Freedom Foundation. You can really help us out. It is in the comments. So just click on it and you can really help get the stories of our lost heroes. Stephanie.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for joining us. I absolutely love that you're focusing on your daughter, and that's really helping, your growth and helping you push through. I think that that's kind of a trending theme among some others that we've heard from too, which I love so much. And I would not call it, the bad stuff coming, right? Like every level of growth that we go through, I truly believe brings its own level of resistance that you kind of have to just break through and keep going. So I would start looking at it that way. Like no bad things around the corner. Every level of growth is just going to, create a different level of resistance that you have to break through to keep moving on. But I feel like we could have talked for much longer time. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we'll hear from you again. And thank you to everybody watching. Happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to the family here.
Thank you. Patrick?
Brother, I said pretty much the things that I want to say to you, man. Keep them warrior boots laced up, brother. And man, just keep finding new ways, man, to grow and to help people, man. Like just I can see your path right now, man. Just like it's so cool, man, how the things that are meant to break us and to damage us or to take us down this dark path, man, can be the things that launch you into greatness.
Absolutely.
And so, man, just can't wait to see how great you become, brother. Be blessed.
And Justin, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Dennis, Stephanie, Patrick, and everyone. I want to say a great thank you to Randy for popping on. And please join us again. We will be back in 2 weeks We are taking next week off in observance of Thanksgiving, and because, you know, that whole family thing, you know, I guess we better deal with that. But I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and I really hope that everyone has a very, very peaceful, very fulfilling Thanksgiving with their families. We, believe it or not, have somebody at my door. You guys can hear my dogs barking. We've got somebody at the door that I've got to go and that I get to go and deliver them a Thanksgiving dinner. So for all of us at Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels, I want to thank you all very much for this week. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. And please remember, love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Make sure you're watching everybody and talking to people. Let's talk to each other. If you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Thank you very much. We will see you again in 2 weeks, I believe. So, but thank you. Thank you again, Justin.
Thank you.